Yo, yo, yo. What's up, baby? Welcome to another episode of Salinas Underground Podcast. Your look at Salinas news, events, more music. All of a sudden, we're now the Monterey County Music Podcast. And we got another guest in the studio today. And so, he goes by G. You're going to have to tell me, how do you pronounce
El Kallpa?
Okay, it is.
That's my artist name, my alter ego, my persona on stage.
Okay.
The beast that takes over is El Kallpa.
I was going to ask that, but I was like, no, I want to ask on the mic for the first time. I didn't want to try to recreate it like a reality show. Because I see the two L's, and it's like a sometimes. So I'm like, see, El Kallpa?
El Kallpa, El Kallpa.
But I thought it seemed more like El Kallpa. And we'll talk about all of the...
It all depends, too. I'm bastardizing. It's Quechua, and then Quechua is the language of the Incas in Peru, and that's where I'm from. And the name comes from people saying that I was playing some reggae, but it wasn't mellow reggae. It was a little aggressive. So it was like, reggae with force, reggae with a punch. And so I need to label myself with something. And that's how the name came about. Like, Kallpa means either force or strength.
Okay.
So I'm the strength, the energy. That's how people describe me on stage. They never describe me as the beautiful voice. That's others.
Yeah, so you for people that don't know, obviously you are a musician, and Century Tribe is that the only band?
No, I do El Kallpa. I have my solo stuff as well.
Okay,
Century Tribe is the big band that I have, and I've had a number of projects in the peninsula, and right now I have another duo that is BarKings. BarKings is another thing.
And again, we'll definitely get into all that, what all that is.
Of course.
But I'm curious because, again, I love history. We were talking about right before we hit record, that I like history and stuff. So I'm curious, your story. You said you're Peruvian, and we're here sitting in downtown Salinas, so that's a long way from Lima or anywhere.
Yeah, that's right.
That's the only town I would know.
That's where I'm from. You're good.
Really? Okay, yeah. What's the ruins, the famous
Machu Picchu, Cusco.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, Cusco, right?
Yeah, the ruins, yeah.
Is that close to Lima?
No, not at all. So people are like, oh, you're coming directly from the mountain, Machu Picchu. I'm like, no, Lima is in one place, Cusco, you need to take a flight or a very, very long drive to get there.
It seems like, east-west would probably be pretty short trips, but north-south might get a little tricky, dude.
Yeah, even east-west is because we have the Andes. So Peru is like flat, then the Andes, and then on the other side you have a little bit of a jungle on Brazil. So crossing the Andes is a bitch, is a problem. Can I curse on this?
Yeah, hell yeah.
Okay.
Do people from one side of the Andes look down at the people from the other side of the like, that's the bad side, bro. That's the whack side. They don't even get rain on that side.
Right. It's like you want to point to Lima, to the capital, right? The people behind the jungle is like, no, those guys are crazy.
But all right, so you're from Lima.
Yep.
Born and raised? You
Born and raised, yeah. I divided into three different special particular places in Lima. One is when I was a kid, my parents had a little bit of money, so I was in kind of like a nice neighborhood, Miraflores, San Isidro area. Then they started running out of money. We moved to a Pueblo Libre, which is where I like...
No hay flores.
Había poquitas flores. Pueblo Libre. No, that's when I learned about your neighborhood, your friends. I learned how to play soccer. I learned how to, be out of the house, have, more street, not cred, but, experiences. And then after that, we moved to the countryside, basically. Santa Clara, that's the third place. And I lived in there until I was 17. And it's divided into like 0 to 8, 8 to 12, 12 to 17. And then I left Peru. But I feel like I got all the experiences. I had a little bit of money when I was a kid. I had all the toys, all the shit. And then in the middle, I had to learn to be a little tough. Learn how to play soccer really good to fit in.
Yeah.
And then when I went to Santa Clara, that even made me tougher because I was away from the city. It was smaller town, very, very rural, very different. Our house, you never locked your house. It was like, up in the boonies.
And was it at high elevation?
No, not really, because it's all within Lima.
Oh,
so it was,
okay.
In Miraflores, you're like right by the beach, maybe 10 minutes. Pueblo Libre is like 40 minutes, and then you go a little in, but it's just central. And Santa Clara is just have a little bit more sunshine, but you're closer to the mountains, but you're not up in the mountains yet. You're still in Lima. I was an hour away from Lima, so not too crazy.
And again, I'm gonna sound ignorant right now, but I'm curious. If you're in Lima, can you see the Andes?
No.
Okay.
No.
It's not that close.
No, you see other. I mean, depending on not from Lima. No, there's other different cordilleras that are smaller than the Andes.
Yeah.
So the Andes you can see for certain spots, maybe certain spots on our coast, but not too close because there's a lot of chains of mountains.
Yeah.
You can't see the Andes really. Yeah.
Okay. So why? I mean, it's because I don't know. Again, I don't know how people that when they listen, if they think we're best friends or something to to a lot of my guests, I don't know. And a good significant amount of them, I meet them minutes before we hit record.
Right.
So again, excuse me if I'm out of line or if I say something too sensitive but why did you end up leaving Lima?
Well, my dad is an artist and he's been struggling all his life trying to fit in. His dad was a policeman, and he wanted him to get a real job.
Yeah.
And whenever my dad was drawing when he was like 7, my grandpa will always pat him in the back and say, "That's my architect. You're going to be an architect," because he wanted to give it a title of something that made money. He'd never say, "Oh, you're going to be a painter." No. You're drawing, you're an architect because that matters.
Yeah.
So my dad did like all the way up until he was born in the 50s, 60s. He's a super hippie dude with the ganja, with the arts, with a very creative person. So he always was the opposite of his dad. But he was under his roof until he was like 18, 19, and then he just couldn't fit in a regular office job. It was against his wild side.
Yeah.
And that's he was struggling a lot with money. Like he'll have some friends to find him a job, and then he just fucking hated it. and also the type of art that he was doing, he was painting nudes. Oil painting. So my mom always struggled with that too. And there was
like, why are there always hot chicks with big boobs? Huh? You can't paint a naked old dude one time?
Not only that,
like,
but then my mom will be like, because my mom is a businesswoman, so you can't sell this. Like I can't sell this to my friends. They're gonna get jealous of the painting. There's like you're leaving this. So they always try to like put him in a place, like try to paint a landscape, and he was like, it didn't call
just 2 hills. He's like, I don't know why I just drawn to these 2 perfectly round hills for some reason.
But that was the main thing. Is like for a while, since I can remember 5 or 6 years, maybe since I was 10, they were like, we're gonna try to go to the States. We had some family here. My dad's sister and brother, 2 sisters and a brother lived in Miami. And they always say, hey, when you can come chase the American dream. And they finally, like, we went, got the visa with some trickery saying that my dad was a big artist and he was going to do an exhibition around the world. And the first stop was Miami to get the visa. And somehow my mom was convinced. They gave my dad the visa first, and then we asked for the visa, and that's it. We came over as tourists, and they just held on, my friend.
In Florida?
Miami, yeah.
So, of course, you were like, we got to get as far away as possible. They're on to us, bro. Let's get out of here.
Mainly, I got out of Miami because it's too hot. I never got used to the weather, mainly for me personally. My brother still lives there, and my dad is there, and then my sister, she's in New Hampshire, but she's going to school. But I never liked Miami. It's amazing to meet all of South America and all of Latin cultures. A little bit of the American culture, maybe, but mostly I hang out with, I learn about every other country that speaks Spanish more than Americans.
Yeah.
In Miami.
Hanging out in fucking Calle Ocho and shit, or what? That's all I know about Miami. Yeah. And cocaine in the 80s. and the
yeah, it's all of that and more. When my wave of migration came in the 2000s, it was a lot of Colombians and Venezuelans. And Peruvians seem to click very well with Colombians as far as culture-wise and same interest. So a lot of my friends were Colombian, but dated a couple of Argentinian girls and some Cubans. And so rich. Like I knew a little bit when I was in Peru, but I didn't know how deep other cultures went into their own thing. And I thought, there's Mexicans here, Argentinians, and that's about it. I didn't even know about any other accents or anything. And then when I went to Miami, I was like, wow. It's crazy.
Dude, that's why the whole like Latino, Hispanic, whatever thing kind of bugs me because again, like technically we're both Latinos.
Yeah.
But I'm going to be honest and it's going to sound ignorant, but I know very little about Peru, man.
True. It's true.
But I'm like, do you guys eat salsa? Like, because I barely learned that too. I didn't even think about that it's like really Mexicans that eat spicy food with salsa. Like, wait, what? Like, I just thought we all did.
We have ají.
Thanks for the potatoes.
Yeah,
you
there
know?
you go. Well, at least
alpacas are cool.
You acknowledge it. You know, because there's some people that think the potatoes are from Ireland. That is wrong.
Yeah, dude. You see an English breakfast all the time, and it's got beans and stuff. And I'm like, dude, pineapples, all this stuff.
All
and
that shit. I know. From Peru, we have tomatoes. Are like, you know, South America, Peru area. Tomatoes, peanuts, and potatoes.
Peanuts,
bro. That's crazy. And I know for sure.
What?
Elote and chicles for Mexico. I took an economics botany class and I learned about the history of where food comes from. And I was like, tomatoes from Peru? All right, cool. And then when I try to share my knowledge, you get Italian guys pissed off, bro. They're like, tomatoes are from Italy. I'm like, you got.
They turned them red, right? They turned them red. They were like green and purple or something.
They were related to a plant that was poisonous. So for years, it was an ornamental plant in Europe. Until somebody said, let's try it.
Some Mexican dude's like, bro, what the fuck are you doing? Give me that. Give me an onion.
Yeah,
I'm about to blow your freaking European mind. No, and so that's interesting that you mentioned that because again, for me, when someone's like, "Oh, you're Latino," you know,
all the same.
or Hispanic. Hispanic is basically a slur to me. I'm like, but like, oh, Hispanic Heritage Night, and I'm like, dude. You're lumping all of us in. And like, number one, Mexicans are crazy compared to everybody. Like a bunch of them hate us, bro. Just like, and like, but also somebody says, oh, look what this Colombian did. Or like, you're Latino, you know, what's the best Colombian food or something. And I'm like, I don't fucking know.
No, dude, it's so
I've never even been to Mexico City, dog. Like,
and then there is like within a country, there is separation too, you know.
Oh, hell yeah.
Separation of accents and foods, like regional foods, that even goes more in depth. It's crazy.
Yeah, so that's where it bought. Because again, why don't they do that for Europe? Like you have French people with French culture and French cuisine, and same with German and Italian, and like everybody's their own thing. You don't just say, "Oh, you're European," but they say, "No, I'm French." Like, no, you're European, bro. You're European American. Yeah. You're Hispanic. You're Hispanic. I don't know. It trips me out. So anyway, it was interesting to hear that. Yeah, that like, look, dude, we are so diverse. It's a whole damn diverse. 2 continents worth of people. So anyway, so you're in Florida. Getting back to your story here.
Miami, yep.
You're in Miami. You're out there hanging with Pitbull and Al Pacino. And
well, he was still washing dishes. He wasn't famous yet when I arrived.
Tony Montana or Pitbull was also a dishwasher.
Pitbull was a dishwasher, yeah.
He's Scarface, right? He did the whole Scarface and he quit. So you're in Miami. It's hot as hell. It's humid as balls, and so you want to move out, and where do you go from there?
Well, my first thing was I need to somehow get papers. Like, this is not going to work out for me.
Oh, because at this point, I
was still an illegal immigrant.
Criminal, so bro. Like, criminal activity.
I need to do something. And then because I had just finished high school in Peru, I was 17. I wasn't allowed to go to high school here. So I was in the limbo. I couldn't go to a university. I couldn't go to high school. I was just like, okay, your destiny is to wash dishes under the table in a restaurant. I was like, I want something more than that.
Yeah.
So I started asking what's the best solution, and then there was all these kinds of visas. If your aunt does a petition, it takes 15 years, or if this, or that, and then they say, oh, you can get married. And I was like, all right. That's it. That was my next.
I gotta marry a white girl though.
My next target. I married a Cuban American, but we talked about it, so it wasn't a love thing. I wasn't lying to anybody, so I was like, you know what? She needed to move out of her house, but she couldn't afford an apartment. I was like, I'm working really hard, and I need a wife. So we just made it like a business.
You guys are Mexican. Never mind, bro. All Latinos are the same. I take that back.
All right, it's true. But so that was my first thing. Fix this thing. And as soon as I got some kind of papers, I did a lot of things. Like I had a band in Spanish, played a lot of soccer, went to a local college, paying out of my pocket as an international student to learn English, because I was like, I need to get something.
Dude, I didn't even think about that at this point.
No
when
English,
you showed up from Peru, no English?
Nada.
Yeah, damn.
Well, I had good grades in Peru, but they were nothing for the English that was here, yeah. But mostly getting comfortable playing soccer with all Latinos, always dating Latino girls, like I said, from Argentina, Colombia. You get a really cool taste, and then you hang out with Peruvians. My best friends were the Peruvians. You tend to go to the people you know.
Yeah.
But then I fixed my economic status, and then I joined my immigration status, and I joined the military.
Oh, hell yeah.
I was in the Coast Guard for 4 years. And that was like, okay, this country accepted me. I kind of played the system to get my papers, and now I want to like kind of give back a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And that was going to help me to become a citizen and to help my parents I gave my parents their citizenship. So I need to do something about all of this. So I joined the military for 4 years, climbed pretty high. I was an E5 before I left. I don't know if you know anything about the military, but...
Yeah. It starts at 1, right?
Yeah. In 4 years, so they offered me to stay more, but they wanted to leave me in Texas. I was stationed in Texas, and in order to get out of Texas, I had to like end my contract. I didn't want to renew. And I had other plans, and throughout the military, I was going to school too. So I got my AA while I was in the military. So when I got out, I went back to school to finish my bachelor's degree. But yeah, from Miami, I joined the military, went to Oregon for a year, then 1 year between schools, because you need to go to these 3 months, 4 month schools. And then I was stationed in Brownsville, Texas. Very, very, very close to Mexico too. That was an immersion in Mexican culture, basically.
Yeah, if you're a local drinker and you hang out at the Alvarado Street Tap Room, you've probably met Pops. And Pops is from Brownsville, Texas.
Oh, right on.
A lot of good music there. A lot of good music has come out of that area.
Yeah, for sure. There's a really well mixed. It was crazy. I remember I was married to a different person back then, but she would cross the bridge from Brownsville to Matamoros to get her nails done because it was so much cheaper. And it was a normal thing. You just go across the bridge to eat dinner and shit like that. It was...
And was this, I don't know, because I don't know, was this after 9/11?
Yeah.
Before? Okay,
After.
Because before you could just walk across and...
Yeah, I don't know.
It was not a big, I don't know if it still was, but yeah, nowadays, like even going to Tijuana is all these things, you know, if you don't have the Sentry Pass, you're screwed. All right, dude. Well, then how did you, and this whole time you're bouncing around in the military, you're still doing music?
Yeah, not as diligently as now, but before I left Peru, I had the bug. I had bought a guitar, then I had to sell it. I wasn't a great guitar player, but I was really into writing, poetry, short stories, and something that I call incoherences. It was just like a storm brain session, but then within it, some things rhymed. I don't know what to call it because up until now, I haven't been able to label it. But I was writing these things, my thoughts, and I always liked it in high school to present it to people. I like to share what I was writing, even if people like it or didn't. Just see that reaction, that kind of fed my ego, my curiousness, something. Presenting, I did this, what do you think? I was never shy about that. So when I got to Miami, I couldn't fit in anywhere, but I was like dressing out of place. I was dressing like a Peruvian hippie guy. So one guy once asked me, hey, do you like rock en español? And it looks like, you like this kind of music. And I was like, oh, yeah. So that's how I met my first band in Miami, was through my looks, not through my singing. And I became the lead singer for that band just because I knew all the songs that they were covering as a cover band.
Oh, right. They were covering.
It was all Enanitos Verdes and all just this classic Spanish from the 80s and 90s.
Yeah.
Like Tri, Hombres G, and all of these bands, yeah.
Dude, hell yeah. Of course, dude, that's such great music. So you leave the military. How did you end up here? I don't want to.
Okay, that's why I never.
Now we're in Monterey County.
I never get enough time for the whole story. Okay,
it's
so
awesome.
I get out of the military in 2005. No, 2009. I joined in 2005. And then I went back to Miami because I really wanted another thing I had on a goal. Like when I first arrived in Miami, I saw the University of Miami and how beautiful it was. That I was like, one day I want to go here. So that was like my target. Now that I think about it financially, maybe it wasn't the best decision.
Because it is kind of like a USC, university. Right? It's like a USC type thing, right? Yeah.
It's expensive. I had some money from the military to pay for it, and I got a couple of scholarships. So I was able to attend, but I was a little out of place. I was a little older, and I was not in the economic status that the kids that I was going to school with, you know. And it was different. I was a little older. I was married, so it wasn't even like, I'm going to meet all these people.
Is this the third wife now?
This was the second wife.
Oh, okay.
I'm on my third one. Yeah.
Are you dead? You're like Ross, dude. You're like Ross from Friends over here. Hey, sometimes it takes a while to find the one.
That's right. Yeah.
So did you end up going to the?
I did. Went back, applied for University of Miami, got in, finished my degree in marine science and biology.
Oh, hell yeah.
And on my last year, I always was like, I don't like Miami. I want to move either California. If I don't like California, I'm going to Hawaii. If I don't like Hawaii, I'm going back to Peru. That was like my long-term brain idea. But on my last year of school, we had to research a researcher. Like instead of writing a paper about an animal, you had to write a paper about a person who studied an animal that you were interested in. Because I was in marine science. So I landed on this Dr. Estes. He was up in Santa Cruz. He was studying sea otters. I didn't even know what a sea otter was, to be honest. I was like, the weasel? Was it a sea lion? What is the difference? I didn't know. Started doing my research, and I was like, man, I really like it inspired me a lot. I reached out. He replied to my email. And I was like, man, this is what I want to do. So right after I finished my degree in UM, I was like, I'm going to go and get all my money, and we can move to California. Whatever happens, happens. And if everything fails, we go back to Miami to my family, whatever.
Yeah.
And we did that in 2012 with spouse number 2. Now we're no longer together, but I stay here.
Oh, you stuck around.
Yeah, I moved for the otters, for the sea otters, to study sea otters. That was my main drive. And then I've always wanted to be a dad. Now I have 2 kids. I always wanted to have kids, and I always liked the idea of a little town. When I was in Miami, I had to drive 40 minutes to school, drive this far for this thing, a lot of traffic and all that shit. Every person I tell I'm moving to California, they're like, oh, the 6-lane highway. And I'm like, no, little towns. I remember when I was in boot camp in the Coast Guard, there were a few guys from California, and I made them make me a list of little towns in California. And on that list, there was Monterey, there was Morro, and it needed to be coastal, too. I wanted to be close to the water. In Peru, I used to surf, too, so I wanted to be close to the water. Those were my requirements, which is more expensive, being freaking close to the water.
Especially in California.
Yeah. But yeah, that's 2012. I was like, all right, we're moving. Just packed everything I owned in a U-Haul car and drove over. Couldn't find a steady job, but I had some leftover money from the GI bill. Since I got scholarships when I got my bachelor's degree, I was trying to transfer that to my then wife. And here I met an NPC with a consul, and they were like, well, you can't transfer that to your spouse, but you have, $20K still. And I was like, well, I want that money for school. I don't want it to go to waste. So somehow, I don't know if she recommended or they were like, you can study another degree and then go to school full time, and that helps you with rent, and you become a student again. And I was like, hell yeah. So that's how I was able to start affording things, because I had no one. Like, I migrated to Monterey, to Marina first, I had no connection, not one friend.
Damn.
It was like a brand new place.
Yeah, and in small areas, sometimes it's harder to meet people.
Of course. And then when you're a little older, too, I was already about 30. I was 28, so. But made it work. I love Monterey. Now, if I count my life, I'm 40. This is the place where I've lived the most. I mean, in Peru, I lived in 3 different neighborhoods in Lima.
Yeah.
And here, between Monterey and Marina, I feel like this is home.
And did you ever get a chance to study the sea otters?
I did. It kind of didn't work all the way. Like I said, I was slightly older. It was really hard to land a job. So I was like doing all these odd jobs so I could volunteer to work with the otters. And I always told them, hey, listen, I have my degree. I'm a hard worker. I just need the opportunity. I need to pay rent. And it was really hard. Some people, like, I have a love-hate relationship with the aquarium because I done some crazy great experiences. I met great people, but I feel like they never like completely like welcome me and say, we're going to pay you.
Yeah.
They're like, you can work for us for free. Well, you know, when you're 30 and you don't live with your parents, that's preposterous. You cannot do that.
And especially that organization makes a lot of money.
Yeah.
And you're like, hey, dude.
And I did work for them in certain aspects, so I was just like, but never stuck with the sea otters that I wanted to do. And I did my volunteer, my internship. I learned a lot about sea otters. I tried to apply for the master degree at UC Santa Cruz because I have a bachelor's in bio. It never went that way because I feel like I can't just be a student for the rest of my life where I had to start making some money to pay for things.
Yeah, hell yeah. No, that's the truth. I'm like, damn. It's how many? I say that because I'm sitting here thinking of how many times I've interviewed somebody and their story changes or something happens. They're like, but I need to make money. You know, like I was doing something to do this, but I needed to make money, so I had to change. Yeah. But a lot of the times it led them to whatever they're doing at the moment. And so anyway, I kind of want to switch gears now because we've basically, that's your whole bio. You know, at this point we've caught up. We're in
Monterey.
We're in the 831. Yeah. Yeah. You're here. You're working. You've found your feet. But so then at one point when you were here, did you start making music again, or when did you start showing it off, I guess?
Yeah. Like I said, I carried about 3 bands before I moved here in Miami, on and off. Then when I was in Texas, I'll do some jams, and I was always writing either poetry or songs or whatever. But I'm a very proficient writer. So with my first band, I wrote like 40 songs in 2 years. And then the next band, it was like, okay, I can write. Like I found the recipe. Like you put me a beat, give me an hour, and okay, we have lyrics. Let's go. and it's fun for me. It's not, I don't get writer's block or like I'm good that way.
Yeah.
So very proficient writer. So every time I had a band, I even like didn't want to recycle. Like I don't want to recycle those songs. I can make new songs. So I have a lot of songs under my belt. But when I came here, it was hard to find people to jam. Also, I'm not a pretty singer. So sometimes hard to sell it because some people are like, oh, your voice doesn't do what singers do. And I'm like, no, I'm barking. I'm telling a story about my way. It's like between trovador and, and a rapper and an angry rapper. I don't know what to call it.
Yeah.
But every time I partner with somebody, they were like, oh, mostly not from that person. And that's my not resentful side, but it's kind of a bummer when, like, if I partner with you and you like what we're doing here, we go to a bar and someone tells you, hey, that guy's not good.
Yeah.
And then that changed your perspective. That happened to me a few times here in Monterey. Had a few things that were like starting to lift up, but then my partner was like, oh no, other people, they don't understand your style. So I was like, I don't want to, a girl told me, I don't want to be labeled reggae. And I was like, no, you're not reggae. You're the other part of I bring the reggae and the rapping and you bring whatever you are. And she was like, but I don't want to be labeled, so better stop this collaboration. So it was a little heartbreaking. And always, when I was first coming up, I didn't have a space to host. And I feel like the most successful I've been with bands is when I'm able to put them in a room in my turf. I don't know what it is. If I feel more comfortable or if people listen more because it's my house. I don't know what it is, but it's always worked best that way.
Yeah.
And that's what happened in 2016. I started putting out Craigslist posts. Any musician I saw on the streets or anything, I said, I'm starting a project, I'm starting a jam, I started inviting people to come to my house just to jam. Sometimes it will be a room of 8 to 10 people, and my wife in the room be like, it was a little apartment too.
Oh, it was an apartment?
It was an apartment. But it was finally, like before that, I was living in a studio, a little place. Yeah. So, but that's where the Tribe formed, like on Watson Street in Monterey.
So from that jam session, that group of people, eventually people stuck around and people coalesced into a group.
Recurrence. I was trying to teach him songs from my prior bands, or try to find some Bob Marley style, because reggae, and I wanted to jam with reggae. And then it wasn't even my idea to form a band, but I told one of the guys, like, my dream is to have a band where it's like a complete democracy, where everybody has a voice. Everyone can tell a story. I believe that everyone can sing. I believe that everyone should be able to have a voice in the microphone. So, and I wanted to do that since I was in Miami. Just that some people don't share that passion. Some people don't want to, I just want to play bass and be quiet, and that's it. But I told this guy, the bass player now, Glenn Bell, my dream, and he was like, it's a crazy idea, man. I don't know if it's ever going to materialize.
Yeah.
And then little by little, a guitar player I used to play with us, he's no longer in the band, but he was like, let's just make a band. And I was like a little resistant, because I've been through band breakups, because when I go into the band, I change, my brain changes, like it's work mode. Like, we need to be serious.
Yeah, hell yeah.
If we're going to give ourselves a name, I don't want to be, half-assing it. If we're jamming, I'm fine. I don't have a name. We're just meet
it's just fun.
Yeah, it's fun. But if we're gonna have a name, and then gigs, and then you need to show up to practice, then you need to be on time. You need to learn your lyrics, learn your chords, learn the changes, learn the structure. But that guy kind of pushed it to make it a band, and our first appearance was at the Bull and Bear. What's it called? Bull and Bear, I think. Yeah. On Alvarado.
Bull and Bear, yeah.
What is it now? No. Or was it something else back then?
Is it
It's had a couple of names.
Yeah, what was it before? I don't know.
Yeah, that
from
place.
Salinas.
Yeah, that place. And it was the people I started posting stuff on Facebook or on Instagram. That, oh, you guys should come down and jam. And then that was the first time we played, and people liked it. And I had multiple singers. I had a friend, and I pulled people from everywhere. So one was a coworker from the aquarium, another guy I met at an open mic, another guy from Craigslist, and just start mustering people, and whoever kept showing up. That was the core of the band. And that was in August of 2016 is when Sensory Tribe kind of started.
Well, and then also you have a pretty unique perspective, and I get it. Miami is a big city, so there's obviously more opportunities available. But what's a big difference between the music scene over there and this one that you encountered here in Monterey County area?
I don't know. I guess I don't know. I was never a working musician in Miami because I was younger. I never even thought about making any money from playing. Maybe I was just playing it was a little more punk too. Like I was barking from the drums in one of the bands. Excuse me. And I didn't care too much about sounding too good. I just wanted to express and release my thing.
Yeah.
But I don't know about what it is now.
I guess did you think it was harder to find people to jam with? Was it, or just as easy in Miami as it was around here? Well, probably not easy. I don't think
it's never easy, I guess. But in Miami, again, my first band that went on for 2.5 years, I just clicked with the guitar player. And I wasn't in school. I was just basically living at his house. And I started writing all of these songs, and people loved it. And, that's how I landed on that band, because I was wearing, hippie looking pants, basically. I couldn't tell you, to be honest. I couldn't tell you. I play in Miami with a couple of bands, Churchill's, which is a crazy venue where Marilyn Manson has played.
Oh, damn.
This crazy venue in the middle of Little Haiti in Miami, and it has a lot of recognition. So I'm really glad I've been on that stage. But it was never anything too big. We also opened for a band that is now big. It's called Locos por Juana. They travel around. It's pretty cool. It's a Miami style music.
Yeah.
It's between reggaeton, salsa, a little bit of rock, a little bit of reggae. We opened for that band too. And I play a huge stage in one of my first concerts just because we were Peruvian. Because they were celebrating. It was early 2000s, not a lot of Peruvians. So when someone heard that some Peruvian kids had a band, they're like, oh, they could be the headliner for this festival, you know? So it's the Bayside, which is a huge stage. But it was like attendance of maybe 100 people. So it looked like no one was there. We're in this huge stage. I didn't even know, like, yeah. But in Miami, it was a little different. Now that I know the industry and I know that some people make money because of live music, like my perspective has changed a little bit. And you know, when I see that other musicians are making money, I'm like, okay, I want to do that too. I think I'm able to do that as well. It's still tough, especially with an 8-piece band here. It's hard.
Yeah, I was looking at the description on Instagram, and I hit more, and then it's just all these other members showed up. I was like, oh man, okay, it's a decent sized band. Well, and honestly, that kind of makes me feel, I know it's always tough, but I like that answer, because it would have been tough if you're like, dude, like, I love music and I'll always find people that do music, but in Miami you could find people, you know. It's nice that you're still able to find people, and it seems like anywhere you would go,
I think so.
You would find that.
And now that I know a little bit more about recording myself and the BPM on a song and the key, that shit, I never crossed paths with that in Miami. It was very punk rock, and most of the stuff lived in my brain. Bandmates were my brother's friends from high school, my sister's friends from middle school. That was what the bands were.
Yeah.
I think once we won a battle of the bands and we made $150, and we were like, what? $150 is crazy. Back then, my parents too, like, bless their heart, my living room was a practice room. Like drums and like perpetually. Like the living room was not a living room. It was the drums, PA system, microphones. Like that was the living situation in Miami.
And your dad, did he keep painting this whole time?
He's still painting. Yeah. He's still kicking around. Still, he didn't catch the American dream though. It's not easy. You need, just like anything with arts, it's not only hard work. Then you need hard work and, you know, luck or the right person or something. We talked a little bit about this again before we hit record, and the same deal with podcasts, you know, and once they became so ubiquitous, people like thought that, oh man, if I start a podcast, I'm gonna become a millionaire. And I have famous.
to tamp people's dreams. It's like, I'm not discouraged. I encourage people to start a podcast. Yeah. I think they're a really neat medium to tell stories, but it's like, but you're not going to make money. And I'm not saying that to discourage you, because I don't make money. He don't make money. Your favorite podcast probably honestly doesn't make money. You know, and but it's the thing is like I'm not doing it for that, you know. Like I've come to realize that the dream is still there. Like, don't get me wrong, I've said that before. If someone comes at me with $1 million contract for a podcast or something, yeah, I'm signing. I'm not saying I'm this, you know, like I don't need money kind of thing. Like, nah, I understand we live in a capitalist society, and that's still the goal. But I realize it's such a rare, unattainable goal, but that doesn't mean that what we're doing isn't valuable or isn't worth it. And like to our audience, and then to the people in the future that might come across this show, it's like that's worth $1 million basically, you know. So I'm like, I get it, you know. I'm a realist, you know, and the goal is still there, you know. We're still going to try to be as professional and keep pushing our little company to make money. But the reality is that there's millions of these out there, and only a handful make money. And I believe it's the same with bands, you know. It's
100%. Yeah,
that was one of the things when I started doing this show. And I'll be quite honest, when I would see bands play in front of 10 people, I would be like, I don't know if I would. If I showed up, drove 2 hours, and there's only 10 people out there, I'd be like, you know what, I'm just going to be drinking at the bar. And I would always ask the artist that, you know, because I thought, when I started this show, dude, almost 10 years ago now, everybody would be like, yeah, that fucking sucks, that's embarrassing or whatever. But I started realizing, like, most people in bands know the deal, you know. There's very few people that are like, dude, in 3 years we're gonna be Metallica.
Yeah,
like,
no.
Most people are like,
if you start with that mentality, you're only gonna suffer.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's gonna be tough. But yeah, exactly. A grand majority of the people that I've met that are in bands or in music are just like, dude, even if I had no money, one of the things I would have was a guitar. Like the music is just in me, you know. Like I don't care if one person shows up or 10,000 people show. I mean, I'm sure they want 10,000, but they're like, that's not what matters.
Yeah, for me, it's telling the story. It's just kind of a selfish thing. For me, it's expressing myself. I want to tell what I have here, and I have an urge to do it. It doesn't matter how. It could be a Facebook post, it could be a poem, it could be a book, it could be whatever. And social media that's what social media is for me. So I put my art there. I made this movie. I took this picture. I said, check it out. Say thumbs up, thumbs down. It doesn't matter. It made you feel something.
Yeah.
So that's the part that for the hardest time I was having a hard time like explaining. Now I know it's like I just want you to feel something. Whatever it is you feel is up to you. But I want to like, put a little bit of fire there.
Yeah. But if you have $1 million, I'll also take that.
Yeah.
So if people are listening and they want to hear Sensory Tribe, are you online anywhere, or did it just find you live?
We have a CD. Our EP is a little outdated. It's 2018, and we're looking to get more material. But we're on Spotify. We're on all streaming platforms. You can check out Sensory Tribe. I'm on all streaming platforms as El Kallpa. As a solo with collaborations, I have almost 100 songs out.
Oh shit!
Yeah, with the band we have 7 or not 10. Yeah. Yeah, and now with BarKings, we're starting to put songs out. But I did a 20 song album in 2020 as a solo because of the lockdown. I was like, I need to do this now. And I had learned a little bit how to operate the computer by myself. Really good friend from the band too, Glenn Bell. He helped me a lot. He's like the guitar and bass player for the whole album. And then after that, in 21, I did 2 songs a month. I was pushing myself. I'm going to release 2 songs every month. And it all comes from...
You're like Buckethead, bro.
Just from being poor. I was like, I'm paying $20 for DistroKit, which is this thing that distributes your song. And I was like, I'm going to milk as much as I can.
Yeah.
I want to release 1 song, a year. I was like, I'm paying $20. I want to pay them $1 per song. That's where my brain went. My cheap brain.
Yeah.
So I released 20 songs in 21. And, plus the band songs and some collabs that I have. And those are the songs that are out. I have another 300 songs unfinished.
Damn, dude, you're like Prince. You're like the Prince of Marina.
Yeah, now with BarKings, we're almost at the 20 songs line. We have released 2 songs with 2 official videos. Already have the 3rd song working on an official video too. So I'm pushing that to make the song with the video. Thanks to my partner, Swizzly. He was like, if we're going to do a duo project, I want that every time we release a song, we put it together with a video. And he knows a lot of the technical aspects of recording a lot better than me. And I know a lot about video and editing. So I'm like, okay, let's partner up. And we're both like, we like telling stories. We're proficient writers too. So it's a good partnership. We push each other to, because he had his solo thing that was like, and I have my solo thing that I was pretty tired after 21.
Oh, yeah.
After like 40 something songs out on my own. And in 22, I guess it was the end of 21, maybe the end of 22. I don't know anymore. But the Sensory Tribe got hired for the end of year Alvarado Street, the first night, Monterey.
Oh, okay.
And I wasn't in town, so that kind of like revived the project a little bit without me. So we got a drummer to supplement me, because I used to drum and then sing and also write songs, all of that. But we got a singer and a drummer out of that gig. And then they kind of like stayed. So it was kind of a little spark to ignite the tribe back. Because right before the pandemic, we had a few members quitting again. She's not giving us money. It's hard for a big band. I have other bands. I have other commitments. So it was a little hard on that. But yeah, we're. You asked me if we're streaming and look at all the shit I told you.
Nah, hell, that's good stories.
We're on Spotify.
Well, and style-wise, I'm curious. Like, what's the difference, or how can you describe the difference between listening to your solo stuff versus BarKings or versus Sensory Tribe? Are they all similar type?
I guess my style is there, but I don't see any limits. Like for a while, I wanted to be like, I want to do a reggae album, but then one day I found this like rap trap beat, and in inspired me, I wrote a whole song. So then I just released that, and then that had a lot of likes, and a lot of people talking about it. And then I was like, why should I limit myself? So as El Kallpa, I touch all genres. English and Spanish, Spanglish, made up shit, like all of it. It goes in. I love collaborating, and that's what pushes El Kallpa. It's like if I'm telling you to collaborate, I don't want to be the slacker in that relationship. If it's all on me and I have 20 songs to release, I'll be like, I'll do it later. But if you send me your part, I'll be like, I can't. I need to do it because this guy did his part. So that pushes El Kallpa to release music as a solo, as a collaborator. But now that I've invested more like Sensory Tribe and BarKings right now, so El Kallpa is taking a little something on his own. El Kallpa No Limits, Sensory Tribe definitely has the melodic part of the other singers. I try to incorporate melodic singers on my solos as well, but Sensory Tribe has that permanently. Really nice vocalists, which are Megan, Sean, and Sweesley again. So BarKings, also parts from Sensory Tribe. It's two guys from Sensory Tribe. We're doing BarKings. It's me and the guy from Morocco.
So BarKings is a trio?
It's a duo.
Oh, okay.
So El Kallpa and Sweesley's BarKings.
Oh, that's so freaking cool, man.
And that is mostly we're rapping, and also we're trying to, because it's hard to teach a song to 8 people. You only get to produce a song every so often. Me and him work really fast. He's really good at the studio. And also, we're trying to sell the duo as a cheaper option when people are like, how much is your band? $1,000. Oh, that's way out of my budget. Okay, we have 2 guys for 3. You have $300, you get 2 guys. Yeah. And that way we can still make some money and work with people's budgets, and we get to express ourselves. It's a whole, it's the option A or option B for your budget, kind of. And I tried to do this also with another bandmate a couple of years ago. We did Sensory Sound System, and we perform a few things as Sensory Sound System. But Glenn, the guitar bass player, he has so many bands and so many projects that, Sensory Sound System was one more thing to stress him. So we have a CD, actually. I brought you a CD, but I published a CD with Sensory Sound System too in 2021. Yeah, so from north of 2020, I've released a lot of music.
And it's cool, yeah, because if someone's like, 300 still a little too much, and like, all right, well, El Kallpa, bro, you got it. 150. Yeah, like, I got it.
With my acoustic guitar, that's what you get.
If not, here's a CD, $15.
We cater for the people,
And like you said, people can go on, if they're on their Spotify or whatever, and just look up Sensory Tribe. Or
Sensory Tribe, El Kallpa, or BarKings. BarKings already has 2 songs out as well. Yeah.
Hell yeah. So go check that out. This was exciting. This was cool. I love these because I get to learn about people, man. And like I said, this is so much fun because when we started this almost a decade ago, I honestly was like, dude, we want to do this every week. Like, can I interview? Is there enough people that, because my whole thing was like, oh, Salinas is cool, full of cool people that are working hard. And that was the truest thing that I could have thought of back then. Like it's not difficult to find people doing cool, interesting stuff in this area. It's so neat. And it's so neat that like, not only would I run into you at a bar and hear your story, like I get to actually, put it on,
record it.
Yeah, we'll put it on wax. Yeah, maybe put it on wax. And again, right. And it's there, and these cool conversations where I could be, I met this really cool guy, he's from Peru and then Miami, and then he turned into Tony Montana. It's like he had to leave and he was getting chased and he came to California. He had to change his name. He goes by several names. Yeah. I don't even know why he did it, to be honest. I think it put him in danger now. But yeah, it's instead of doing that, and saying I met this cool person, I could publish it out there, and whoever has access to the internet can also find that and can find that story and be like, dude, you know what? Like, this is a neat area with all these different stories and all these cool people doing cool stuff. But anyway, thank you again for coming on. Is there anything before I kick you out of my studio that you want to mention? I
just
drops?
Released a crazy video with BarKings. It's called Original, and it touches on how it's impossible to make something original because everybody has done something before, and how art is subjective. So it's a crazy video. It took us a long time to film it. It's has a story. It's a well put together video. We're getting a lot of comments, so check out BarKings Original. It's on YouTube. But yeah, check it out. Check out BarKings. Check out Sensory Tribe. Check out El Kallpa.
Yeah, and we'll definitely put it on our social medias and tag everything. But anyway, yeah, G, thanks for coming on.
Yeah.
El Kallpa, whatever your real name is, if that is your real name. Escaping Peruvian dictators because you're an artist. That's the story I'm telling.
Hey, whatever's clever.
That's
man.
what's cool is that you get to tell your own story. And like you were saying, I love the long story format, because it's not, it's all there.
If not, you just need to focus on one little thing, and it's a little difficult. Yeah.
Exactly. This is cool. And but again, I thank you for coming on. I know sometimes schedules and stuff is tricky to match up. And I'm glad we were able to figure it out. And this was another great one. And yeah, we'll catch y'all next time, yo.
All right.
Peace.
Bye-bye.